Hi and welcome to Geeks for Geeks. May I know how you performed in the Job-A-Thon 6? But before that, let me just turn on my preview screen to see if I'm visible or not. Okay, just let me see. But before that, let me just turn on my preview screen. Okay, I'm fairly visible as well as equally audible. So let's start. Okay, so may I have a quick feedback from you? How was the contest for you? How many questions were you able to solve in the coding problem and then in the MCQ problem? And how was the MCQ? This time the MCQ was quite good in my point of view. It was very good. Hi Pujita Reddy. Hi Nothing. Hi Kunal. Just tell me, we would start in a minute. So we would wait for exactly a minute. I have a timer turned on and I would start after the timer goes off. Okay. Yeah, let me have the timer. By the way, I'm observing all your comments. So make sure you tell me your feedback. Okay. So I think you didn't have your dinner, so you can have your dinner while I explain. Okay. So, hi Lalit, how are you? I was waiting for you. Good evening, Vishal. The contest was, yeah, it's absolutely fine. I'm not making this series. Geeks for Geeks is making this series. Okay, so just thank. I'm just a representative of Geeks for Geeks. Fair enough. So we have successfully waited for the 45 seconds. So I think that is pretty much enough. So let's start with the explanation now. Okay. So this specifically for initial campus selection or experienced also can participate? No, as far as I have observed, if you just go and visit the companies that are mentioned there, you would see that they also hire experienced, and some are for freshers, some are for interns. They have specific roles. The difficulty level of the question is in between medium and tough. Yeah, it is absolutely. Coding problem में TLE दे दिया. Okay, that's absolutely fine. और फंस गया वहीं पे. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, so let's start. Okay, so so we would start with the most interesting part of the contest, that is the coding problems. The first coding problem was palindromic substring, and the next was countdown. So whenever I see palindromic substring and all these things, the first two things that come into my mind is two pointer algorithm, and the next is KMP algorithm. These are the two algorithms that hit in my mind. But still, let's start. So we are given a binary string s. What do we mean by binary string? Binary string is a string which would only contain zeros and ones. Now we need to calculate the number of substring of s which are palindrome. What is substring? Substring is basically a particular part of a body, and you can't take individual part. You need to take a continuous segment of it, like it is a1, a2, a3, a4 and a5. So if you can't take like this, okay, you can't take and say a1, a2, a4 and a5. That is subset. You need to take a continuous part of it and only once. Okay, so you can either take a1 and a2, you can either take the whole array, you can either take one element itself. So whatever it is, you need to take a continuous part of it. Okay, fair enough. Then the string s contains at most two ones. This is the point where the question is absolutely simple, and this problem is kind of made easy at this point. Okay, fair enough. So let me so yeah, by the way, after I finish the explanation, I would monitor the comments after the explanation. So if you are commenting and asking me something, I would reply you after I'm done with the explanation. Okay, fair enough. So a substring is a string which is obtained from, okay, just like that. Okay, so fair enough. This is 011. It is mentioned that the frequency of 1 can be at max 2. Okay, so 1 can be less than or equal to 2. Do remember this. Okay, so let us take few examples. But this example, if we just consider this example, then this is not enough. Why? We would see to it that if we generate all the possible permutations of this particular string and we consider all the possible sub-arrays, then that is also not there. Okay, just yeah, yeah, fair enough. So the strings given in the input can be like this: 0, 1, 0, 0, and then again 0 and 1. It can be like this. See, the second one is having no zeros at the end. The next can be like this: 0, 0, 1, and some digits after it. Then it can be the case that it can be like this: only 1, 0, or it can be the case that no one, okay, no one, or it can be the case like this also, okay, and there can be many cases, okay. These are the cases. If you just draw out these all cases in a pen and paper, it would be more than good to go to understand the flow. So you would see that this is a substring. You would see that this is also a substring, and you would also see that this part is also a substring. Okay, so basically the most brute force approach to this is, suppose the length is, so the length of the given string is n, so the number of possible substrings are n multiplied with n plus 1 divided by 2 itself. Okay, we have this. So we generate all the possible substrings of the particular string. So how can we generate all the possible substring? We would stand at each position, एक हर एक index पे खड़े होंगे और certain length तक आगे जाएंगे. Like if we have a b c d e, then we would stand at suppose b, so I would move till b only, so b is a substring. Then I would move towards C. So BC would be a substring. Then I would move towards D. So BCD would be a substring now. And then BCDE would also be a substring at the moment. So we would stand at each position, we would go till the point, but and we would check if it is a palindrome or not. To check if it is a palindrome or not, we need two pointers and we need to see if the two pointers at both the side is equal to not, and the point where we hit that the two characters at the two position is not same, that means it is not a palindrome. Fair enough. So we need a pointer to hold on to the index first, and the next pointer to iterate till the length. So that would be just an n square approach, and to check at each one. So for each, index, so for one index we are doing n plus n operations. Why n plus n? One is to iterate, okay, and the next one is to check if it is a palindrome or not. The substring we have got, but we need to check if it is a palindrome or not, no? So that would be 2n itself. So for n index we would be doing 2n into n. That would be 2n square. Constants are ignored, that is why the time complexity would be n square. Okay, basically this is the approach, brute force approach, and this is the first approach that you would be giving to your interviewer. But if you just observe these all examples, you would come to the conclusion that suppose this is 0 0 0 0, all 0, the second last case all 0, so I can make a so all the substrings are will be a palindrome. Why? Because all the characters are same, there is no case of mismatch here. Okay, no case of mismatch here. That is why there would be 3 multiplied with 4 divided by 2, that is there would be 6 substring which are palindrome. This is clear. Now what we can do is we can break down the strings in form of segments. How to do that? I would tell you that. So what we would do is we would compute this segment, we would compute this segment, and we would compute these segment, 3 segment. Okay, at max it can be, the worst case can be this, that there would be 1 and there would be 2 0 present after that or before that. Okay, so 3. So what we would do is we would add the number of substring present in this, and present is this. Suppose this is a, this is b, and this is c. We can do that. So a plus b plus c. And then we need to consider this case also. To consider this case, we can see that we can make a palindrome till this point of length 3. Okay, of length 3. So we would also consider this, so that would be just d, so we would add this d. Okay, now I would show you why I went till this point, not till this point. Why? Because suppose there is 0 0 and there is here 0 and this is till this point. So we can see that it is a palindrome is if one is situated in the middle. To situate one in the middle, the number of zeros on the left hand side should be equal to the number of zeros on the right hand side. So it should be like this. Okay, we can go till this point. So what we can do is we can count the number of zeros at this point. We can count the number of zeros at this point, and we can take the minimum out of it and plus 1. Okay, multiplied with 2 plus 1, that is just 2 multiplied with 2 multiplied with 2, that is 4, plus 1, that is 5. So 5 into 6 plus 5 into 6 divided by 2, that is 5 3s are 15. 6 divided by 2 is equals 3. We can do that. The same goes for this side also. We can go till this point. And the next thing, these two. So in this scenario also, the number of zeros present at this side should be equal to the number of present at that side. So it can only be the case till this point. Okay, so these are some small cases that needs to be handled. Okay, now tell me if these things are clear to you or not. Okay, एक मैं फिर से बताता हूँ. वर्स्ट सिनेरियो में क्या हो सकता है कि दो वन रह सकते हैं. ओके, दो वन में भी वर्स्ट सिनेरियो क्या हो सकता है कि इस लास्ट वाले वन के बाद भी जीरो है और फर्स्ट वाले वन के पहले भी जीरो है. अब हम लोग क्या करेंगे, जीरो वाले का निकाल लेंगे. अब सारा जीरो है तो सारा सबस्ट्रिंग पैलिंड्रोम होगा. तो इसको कंसिडर किए, बीच को भी कंसिडर किए, यहां को भी कंसिडर किए. अब वन एक है, अगर वन एक है तो वो तो मिडिल में रहना चाहिए और द नंबर ऑफ जीरोस दिस साइड एंड दिस साइड वो भी इक्वल होना चाहिए. सो दोनों सपोज यहाँ पे 5 है, यहाँ पे 2 है, सो वी वुड टेक द मिनिमम. 2 और 5, तो 2 तो दोनों जगह रहेंगे, वी वुड टेक दैट. फिर क्या करेंगे, दोनों 1 लेंगे, इधर भी कुछ एलिमेंट्स है, इधर भी कुछ एलिमेंट्स है, दोनों का मिनिमम निकाल लो. वी वुड ऑल्सो डू दैट. That would be just our answer. Now I would move towards the implementation, but before that, tell me if I am able to do what? I am able to draw conclusion from the question, draw out some few test cases, and then move back to the answer, not making you just read the answer and mug it up. Not that. How to come to this answer and learn it, that is absolutely important. The solution is not that much important. Okay, so just tell me if things are clear to you or not. So let me just check. So tell me if things are clear to you or not. Quickly tell me. Hi, big fam from NSEC. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, he is my CR actually. Somojit Poddar. Yeah, he is my CR of IT department. Not explaining brute force correctly. Okay, can you re-explain what is D? Okay, yeah, absolutely. What is D is a problem. Please share the approach of the countdown. Countdown is the next problem. The string in the test case was too long. Okay, fair enough. We would see to it. Can you explain what is D? Okay, absolutely. I would explain it. Okay, fair enough. Anything more? Quickly tell me if things are clear to you or not. I would wait for the next 30 seconds and then I would move to the next I would move to the implementation after the explanation of this D. Okay. Won't D and A overlap? Yeah, we would see to it. Okay, this thing can be understood from the implementation. You would see, I am just giving you the whole idea and how we would move forward. But taking care of small test cases or the small segments of the problem would be handled by the implementation. You should explain correctly by dry run, not for the sake of simplicity. Okay, fair enough. So I think this person, I know him well. Okay, so I would be blocking him. Why? Because I have been observing this person for the last 2 to 3 months. राजा बेटे एक नंबर विल बी टू फंक्शंस लिखे. ओके, राजा बेटे ने नंबर 1 विल बी 2 और 2 फंक्शंस लिखे. व्हाई डिडंट द subtracting one permutation, why didn't the method of subtracting non palindromic from the total work here? Why? But can you tell me how are you getting the non-palindromic thing? Can you tell me? Yeah, this implementation is a bit problematic, to be honest. Okay, fair enough. So let me tell you what is this D. So this D would overlap, but we would see how we are we doing that. So let us take the example of this one. Okay, we won't take a large string, but still let us move forward with 0, 1, and then 0, 0, and then 1 again, 0, 0. Okay, I think this is fine enough. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so first we would compute the string size. So the string size would be last index plus 1, that is 7. So n is equals to the number 7. Then what we would do is we would have I plus 1 less than n, and we will have s of I is less than equal to I plus 1. So this is nothing, but at this point x would be equal to 1. So 1 multiplied with 1 plus 1. So see, I plus 1 is less than n, see, and s of I is equal to s of I plus 1. At this point only, s of 0 is not equal to s of 1. So what it would be the case is we would continue. If it is not that case, it would be x plus plus, it is 1 into 2 divided by 2, that is 1. So we would add that to our answer. Then what we would be doing is we would move forward and we would reset this counter. Now again x is equals to 0. Then we would come to this point. Okay, we would come to this point. Then again we would increase the counter. Now again this index value is not equal to the next index value. So we would have x is equal to 1. Okay, now again this is not equal. So 1 multiplied with 2 divided by 2, that is 1 only. Okay, fair enough. Now again the counter is resetted to 0. Next again x is equals to 1, and this value is equal to the value at the next index. So again it would be incremented to 1, and then this also would be incremented to 2. But at this point this is not equal to the next index. So 2 multiplied with 3 divided by 2 would be equal to 3 itself. Okay, so at this point 3 multiplied with that would be 3 itself. So we would add this 3 also. Next we would again come to this one. So 1 multiplied with 1 is equals to again 1. Then again this would be there. After the completion this would be added. So 2 into 3, 2 into 3 divided by 2 is equals to 3. That would be added to 3. This is done. Okay, this is done as of now. So we would remove this. This is how we are considering these all segments. Okay, I would be telling you this segment, this segment, this segment, this segment, and this segment. We are adding the number of substring in this. Why? Because all the elements are same. Okay, fair enough. Now let's move forward with the next part. So now we would see what is the last. We would have a last variable which would store the last position of 1. So now last is equal to -1. We would have that. And let me remove the semicolon thing. Yeah. So now we would start if s of I is equals to 1, else it won't compute only. So we would directly come at this position. At this position s of I is equals to 1. Let's see what happens. Now L is equal to 1 and R is also equal to 1. Then what would be the case is we would keep moving forward till we are 0. So L of I minus 1 is greater than equal to 0. Okay, so that would be nothing, but we would be landing here. So L would now be 0. So basically we are seeing the range till which we can move forward. Okay, so मतलब क्या हो रहा है ना, मैं बताता हूँ. Suppose यहाँ पे 0 0 1 0 है. So I told that here if यहाँ पे 2 है, यहाँ पे 1 है, तो we would take the minimum of it. We are doing the same thing. So यहाँ तक पहुँचने के लिए we need to go on that side ना. That is why this while loop is coming into picture. Okay, fair enough. So the while loop is now pointing to 0. Now let us see how the while loop is pointing at this position also. Okay, so let us see. Now r plus 1 is less than n, and s of r plus 1 is equals to 0, and we would keep doing r plus plus. So now at this position we would be reaching here. Okay, okay, Now minimum of L minus I and R minus I. So L minus I, what is that? So 1 minus 0, and then this is 3 minus 1. That is what? 1 and 2. I told that minimum of them. So we would add the minimum. That is why we are adding the minimum. Now if there is no previous one, okay, that is the last is minus 1. See, the last is minus 1. We would assign that, या इसको याद रखो, ये तुम्हारा last one का value है. So we are now assigning the value of minus 1 with 1 itself. Then we would again come to this position, and this time I won't be doing the L and R thing. So I would be coming to the position this, and I would be coming to position this. Then I would be assigning this two only. Okay, fair enough. Then we can move forward. Just a sec. Okay, let me just observe the chat itself if I have anything. Okay. Go to match. Okay, fair enough. We are still on the right path. Okay, fair enough. This time again, we would be coming here. We would be coming here by using these two loops. Now, this time the last is not equal to 1. Now what we would do is see very carefully. Okay, so we would take first the value I. So that is 1. Last value, that is 1. And n minus I. So I is this position. So n is 7. 7 minus 4. 7 minus 4 is equals to 3. 3 minus 1 is equals to 2. Okay, next what we would do is we would see, okay, answer plus, that is just 1. Why? Because see this one. Okay, we would do that. Next, यहाँ पे दो है, यहाँ पे एक है. So यहाँ पे दो है, यहाँ पे एक है. So we would consider only one, the minimum of both. Now if I minus 1 is not equal to 1, we would increment the counter. Okay, so if that is not the case, we would increment the counter. So I hope things are clear to you. I have explained that with a dry run. Okay, and I took a better example than what is given already. So please let me know if this thing is clear or not, so that we can move to the next problem, that is the countdown problem. And this problem is very interesting, to be honest. Just quickly tell me if things are clear to you or not. So just quick, sir, coding problem फिर से बता दो. Sir, coding problem, sir, first problem is already explained. Can you share the Java code also? Yes, I can share the Java code, but I have not copied it at the moment. So consider, just ping me on LinkedIn. My username is Siddharth, and I would be giving you. Okay, you should take his comment as a feedback. I also think in dry run expression, you should explain the condition part in well, dry run. Yeah, dry run is done as of now, Dhananjay. So Dhananjay, can you please confirm if you have understood or not? So next question, please. You should take his comment as a feedback. Whose comment as a feedback? The person with whom I am blocked. I use Jharia. By the way, he is just harassing me for the last 2 months. Okay, whatever the last day which I have observed was, I didn't even started explaining, and I was explaining something. I was talking something differently. Okay, I think he was not listening to me, and he was telling me that you are not explaining properly. Okay, and I just laughed. And see, I can just always yell at everyone. Okay, because everyone is a good mood. Everyone has different situations. Okay, there is no difference in CPP and Java code. Yeah, for this question, there is absolutely no difference, to be honest. So Dhananjay, please confirm. I'm waiting for you. Okay, yeah, we would be moving to the next question. So I see no doubts coming in. Still, if we have any doubts, you can quickly tell me. Okay, fair enough. So let's just move forward. Okay. Okay. Now, you and your friends have planned a trip to Geekland, okay? And you have to pick your friends. So basically, what is the question is, you are there and you need to pick your friends. Don't leave the storyline thing. All the houses in the Geekland are on the x-axis. So basically, there are two axes. the first one is the y-axis, and the next one is, so the next one is the x-axis, and it is told that all your friends lie in the x-axis itself. Okay, like this. Okay, fair enough. Then it is given that you live at the origin. Okay, you live at the origin. So this is me, and these are my friends that are at the red position. Okay, so if you are at the ith friend house, it would take ti time to pick him up. Okay, and this is independent of where you are situated. Suppose you started from whatever friend's house you are at your origin, or you are someone else's house, it is not dependent on that. That friend would take that time. Okay, so suppose मैंने बोल दिया कि भाई तुम जहां से भी आओ, मुझे 1 घंटा तैयार होने में लगेगा ही. Okay, and that is independent of what time you come, and that is independent of where you come, from where you come. So ti time तो लगने वाला ही है, and it takes y unit of time to travel the distance y. So let's say you are currently, okay, I would explain you this in a better way. Okay, now suppose this is 0, this is 1, this is 3, this is 5, this is 7. Suppose currently I am at this 3 and I want to reach 7. And suppose the time taken to get ready for 7 is x. So the value would be nothing but the absolute value, that is 3 minus 7. It absolute value, why? Because distance can never be negative, with the waiting time, that is x, and that is independent. So it would be minus 4, okay, plus x, that is nothing but 4 plus x. So jahan the difference from the point at which we are situated and the distance from which we want to go, the distance between them is the distance that we need to cover. Okay, and that is 1 unit of time. Okay, it is mentioned. Find the and it will take ti times. It is, so currently distance. Okay, there is something written distance I, if it takes ti time to pick him up. Yeah, see, it takes y unit of time to travel a distance y. So if I say that you need 5 hours to travel 5 kilometers, then you know that the 5 hours, then you know in 1 hour you are traveling 1 kilometer. Okay, this is quite simple enough. Okay, now you are given a maximum time that is left to you, and you want to visit the maximum number of friends. And initially, as thought of, you would start with from the origin itself. So you would start from the origin and you would try to visit the maximum number of friends itself. Okay, fair enough. So in this scenario, the time is 46. So even if we add all the distance as well as all the waiting time, it would not be 46, rather it would be less than 46. That is why we can visit all the 4 friends, and we can do that. Now, the first way is to think this, that we should visit our friends in a greedy way. Okay, so let me just adjust the camera. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Okay, fair enough. Then what we would be doing is we would be starting off from, see, the first way is to think greedily. Okay, so first we would try to think that we want to visit in a what is greedily? Greedily मतलब कुछ नहीं, एक particular way से चलेंगे. Okay, एक particular way से चलेंगे, and we would try to visit as much friends as possible. Okay, एक होता है कि we would try the recursive way. Okay, and then we would memorize it, and then we would say that it is a dynamic programming problem. And basically, when we would consider greedy and when we would consider dynamic programming, there is a quite a big difference that is to be known. Okay, I know that this dynamic programming discussion is out of the scope of this, but still you should know when you should be thinking in terms of dynamic programming, when you should be thinking in terms of greedy. Okay, the first thing that you should do is you should think in terms of greedy. Okay, you should try to solve that particular problem in a predefined manner. Okay, like following a particular way, and you would be getting the final result. Okay, and that would be the most optimal. Now suppose there is no way that you can do that. Okay, there is no way. Okay, some case would definitely fail at that position. It might be the case that I'm considering this and then that I need to reconsider that my past selections, these all things. Then in that scenario where I need to consider all possible scenarios and I want to take out the optimal ones and then report the most optimal, in that scenario I should be thinking in terms of dynamic programming or recursion. Okay, fair enough. Now, let us first try with the greedy method. Okay, so what is the greedy method basically? So, in this greedy method, as observed in the origin itself, so the most optimal way, in my view, that we are at the point 0, and the houses are situated suppose at point 5, at suppose point 11, and suppose point 16, then suppose point 25. Then what we can do is we can start from 0 and we can go and consider 5, then we can go and consider 11, then we can go and consider 16, then we can go and consider 25. Okay, fair enough. So basically क्या करना है ना, हम लोग एक predefined manner से visit करेंगे. Why? Because I would tell you this. See, because suppose if I just visit this house without visiting these all houses, then the distance that needs to be covered, okay, is 25. The time taken would be 25. Now suppose I want to again I want to again go to this distance. Then I again need to go from 25 to 5. Okay, that would be nothing but 20. Okay, 20, that is 45. So if I go in this scenario that I would first reach here, that is 5, that is just 5, and then I come and go here, that is 25. 25 minus 5 is equals to 20. So we can see that we need to cover a distance of 25. So basically we can see that if we just visit the distance in order of their distance, जैसे जैसे क्या करना है ना, सपोज मुझे हर घर में शादी का कार्ड बांटना है. ओके, एक गांव में है, एक सिटी में है, एक घर से बहुत दूर में है. सो मैं क्या करूंगा ना, एक बार सिटी जाऊंगा, फिर वापस गांव में आऊंगा, फिर वहां से कहीं और जाऊंगा. दैट इज नॉट द वे. सो व्हाट आई वुड डू इज, मैं घर से निकलूंगा, पहले जो सबसे पास है उसको विजिट करूंगा, देन उसके बाद जो सबसे पास है उसको विजिट करूंगा, देन उसके बाद जो सबसे पास है उसको विजिट करूंगा, एंड आई वुड कीप विजिटिंग दैट इन अ ट्रैवर्सल वे. ओके, मैं यहाँ जाऊंगा, यहाँ जाऊंगा, यहाँ जाऊंगा, ऐसे तो करके कोई फायदा है नहीं. ओके, वी देर इज नो profit in doing that. Okay, that is not the optimal way. So we now know that we need to travel in terms of distance, nearest distance. So we would just sort the distance initially. We know that we would sort the distance and start considering it. Now the problem would arise that what to leave and what to visit. This is the most crux of this problem. Now, can you tell me how can I decide this? What to leave and what to visit? So I know that I want to visit in this way, the increasing distance way. But can you tell me what to leave and what to visit? Can you tell me a way to do this? Quickly tell me a way to do this. I would be waiting for around 30 seconds for your reply. Can you explain for input 1? So if you just consider the input 1, you would see that even if you add up all the waiting time and the distance, okay, that would sum up to less than 46. Okay, that is why you can visit all the houses. Okay, so quickly tell me how would we do that, कि एक को कंसिडर कौन सा फ्रेंड को विजिट नहीं करना है, कौन सा फ्रेंड को विजिट करना है. हाउ वुड वी डू दैट? टेल मी क्विकली. Anyone has any way of doing that? Quickly tell me a way. So let me just check. Dynamic programming. No, first we are trying to build up any predefined, मतलब एक ऐसा तरीका सोचना है. सारा तरीका कंसिडर करना इज डायनेमिक प्रोग्रामिंग, बट एक प्रॉपर तरीका सोचना है. बस एक तरीका सोचना है कि हाँ भाई, वी वुड मूव in this fashion and we would come to that. So वैसा कुछ बताओ. Sort the distance. Okay, sort the distance is already done, that we would move in a sorted fashion. Now I would tell you how to do that. Yeah, and time. Yeah, this small thing, but a little bit of, yeah. So now let's move. So now what we would do is we would start visiting all this. Okay, and whenever we fall short of time, okay, now whenever time is elapsed, when time is over and we can't visit anything, what we would do is we would go to the person for whom we have waited for the maximum time, and we would say that भाई तुम मत आओ, मैं बता रहा हूँ, पहले मैं विजिट करना स्टार्ट करूंगा. ओके, पहले मैं सामने जाऊंगा, फिर उसके बाद जाऊंगा, उसके बाद जाऊंगा. वी वुड डू दैट सिंपल. ना अब क्या करूंगा, सपोज सपोज क्या करूंगा कि मैं जा रहा हूं और मेरी फ्यूल खत्म हो गई. ओके, और सपोज मेरे पास टाइम की कमी है. सो व्हाट वी वुड डू इज हम बोलेंगे कि अरे भाई वो बहुत ज्यादा घर में रुकवाता है, तो एक काम करो, उसका घर अभी के लिए स्किप कर दो, जो सबसे ज्यादा रुकवाता है उसको स्किप कर दो, हम लोग आगे बढ़ते हैं, क्योंकि हमें सबसे ज्यादा विजिट करना है. दिस थिंग ओनली, द थिंग विच वी यूज इन रियल लाइफ ओनली. क्या करेंगे, हम लोग विजिट करेंगे, जो सबसे ज्यादा टाइम लगाता है उसको बाहर निकाल देंगे, फिर उसको हटा ही देंगे, फिर थोड़ा आगे गए आगे गए आगे गए आगे गए. अब क्या हुआ कि फिर से हम लोग के पास टाइम शॉर्ट हो गया. फिर क्या करेंगे, फिर जो सबसे ज्यादा टाइम लेता है उसको हटा देते हैं, फिर हम लोग आगे बढ़ जाएंगे. एंड वी वुड कीप काउंटिंग, ओके, एट ईच स्टेप. नाउ यहाँ पे एक पार्ट आता है, देयर कम्स अ पार्ट where we need the maximum waiting time of the people that we have visited. Okay, so of the people we have visited is simply easy, कि we would, after we have iterated we would insert, before that we won't insert anything. But if we want maximum or minimum at each position, so now the need is max at each position. So, and deletion also, deletion is also there, deletion is also there, so we want to iterate, we want to take out the maximum at each position and we want to delete it also. These are the two things that we want to do. To do this two things, what we can do is we can make use, there are 3-4 things that we can do: set, multi-set, priority queue, and these all things. But set and priority queue won't come into picture. Okay, why priority queue can come into picture but not set can come into picture? Why? Because it might be the case that ये friend ने भी 10 मिनट रुकवाया, वो friend भी 10 मिनट रुकवाएगा. Both the friends would ask us to wait for same time, so there can be a duplicate value. So what we need to use is we need to use multi-set for this purpose. Multi-set for this purpose. So what we would do is, let us quickly understand. We would first insert the distance and the time in a vector of pairs, and then we would sort according to the first element. Why? Because I told you that visiting 0, 5, 11, 16, 25 in a sorted way is much more beneficial than doing that. Okay, so the next is that we would have a multi-set with the largest element at the top. Then what we would do is we would first calculate to visit the current position. Okay, so we would start with 0. So we would visit the current position subtracted with the previous position, and we would add the waiting time. Then if the current time that is required, okay, suppose the current time is, suppose we have enough time to visit this person. If we have enough time to visit this person, the value would get subtracted and we would insert this waiting time into the multiset, and we would increase the counter of the number of friends that we have visited, and then we would take out the maximum of it, and then we would say that the previously visited friend was this. Okay, but now suppose we have exhausted the time and we are falling short of time. What we would do is we would go to the first element of multiset, that is the maximum waiting time, and and what we would do is we would erase it and then we would add it to our time, okay, and then we would decrement the counter of friends visited. Now suppose the maximum waiting time is less than the time that is required for us. Suppose maximum waiting time अभी तक 10 मिनट ही है and to visit the next person we need 20 minutes. So taking the 10 minutes is not useful to us. Why? Because we would be subtracting one and we can't visit the next person. So there is no use in that. Okay. So now tell me if things are clear to you or not. If the things are not clear, I would be explaining it again. Okay. But please do tell me. Okay. So quickly tell me if things are clear to you. Okay, fair enough. So he is not interested in explaining the problem well and making things more complicated. So can you tell me how am I making things more complicated? Okay, still leave. Why I'm doing this? Okay, yeah, fair enough. So can you quickly tell me if things are clear to you or not? Let's have a timer here and we would wait for the next 1 minute. So what I can do is Grisela or whatever the person you are again coming and again Aman Goria and that person. What you can do is the person whom you think, okay. So yeah, I can see his dedication. So for the people I have seen some, so I have today I have observed some people who think that I am not worthy enough. Yeah, it might be the case that I am not worthy enough. It's absolutely fine, and I accept the fact that you are much more knowledgeable than me. So what you can do is you can connect with me on LinkedIn, send me your resume. I would definitely refer you. Okay, I would definitely refer you. Okay, and I would see to you, I would see to it that I get replaced and you sit on my position. Okay, and I would perform the same thing that you are doing now. Okay, and I hope that you would take the same thing as I'm taking it myself. Okay, so the code is not clear, but I will watch the video again. Okay, okay. Auto.mean.java is nothing but this thing. Okay, so let me just quickly tell you. So see, suppose the multiset has recorded 7, 10, 5, 4, and 3. So multiset dot begin would point to the first element. This is the begin position. Okay, and after the last element it would be the end position. Okay, this is what is there. Okay, and it would also store duplicate values. Okay, now we would move on to the next part. Okay, that is this one. So solving this one is pretty interesting, to be honest. I would just see if there is no time. Okay, I don't have time for all these things. Okay. No, why won't you? I think you should sit on my place. And to be honest, I'm getting pretty paid well. And I don't think that I should be paid, okay? I should be unpaid and I should be just mopping up the roads and stuffs, okay? You should be sitting on my position and you should be replacing me. Okay, fair enough. So we are given 8 identical coins, out of which one coin is heavy and we have a pan balance. So basically pan balance is a kind of weighing machine, okay, where we compare, where we put two things at both sides and we weigh which is heavier, okay, and the part which is going down is heavier than the part which is at this position, okay. So that is it. So now what we can do is how many minimum number of measurements are needed to find the heavy coin, okay. So there is a way in doing that, okay. What is the way? I would explain you. So whenever you are told that the you need to, so I read a similar problem, I would tell you, and this problem appeared in TCS, okay, in exam. So what happened in that problem was you are given a set of candles and you need to tell the candle which would blow first, and you need to compare two candles at a time. Okay, so this question is absolutely similar to that, so please try to understand it very carefully and ask me multiple number of times. Okay, suppose what we can do is we can distribute this thing in three groups. Okay, so first one, if we have all the candles like this, okay, So sorry, all the coins like this. So if we have A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, A7 and A8. Now what we can do is we can have A1, A2 and A3. Okay, the first group. Then we can have A3, A4 and A5. Okay, sorry, A4, A5 and A6. Okay. So A4, A5 and A6. So A4, A5 and A6. Then we can have A7 and A8. Now what we can do is after distributing them in different groups, what we can do is we can first consider the measurement of A1 and A4. Okay. First we would compare the sum of both. Okay, sum of both the balance. So if the sum of A is equal to the sum of B, okay, so first we would, so see, first we would sum. Summing up is not a part of measurement. Okay, so first we would sum up. If suppose the weight of A is 5 kilograms and the weight of B is also 5 kilograms, there are two possible scenarios. Okay, so I can say that sum of A is equal to sum of B. This is the first scenario. Okay, this is the first scenario. If this is the first scenario, that means that the heavy coin lies in the C part. So now what I would do is I would compare A1 with A7. If A7 is heavier, if A7 is heavier, that means A7 is the heavy coin. Okay, if that is not the case, then the only remaining coin is A8. So I would say that A8 is the heavier coin. Okay, so basically we are just trying to find the general weight of the coins, and then we are trying to compute the remaining. So how many things we did? First we are comparing the group A with group B, that is one measurement, and then we are comparing that with A7. Okay, take any coin from any of the group and compare it with A7. If A7 is heavy, that would be our answer. If A7 is not heavy, that would be our answer. So quickly tell me if the first case is clear to you or not. As it is, 10 minutes are remaining to 11. So I won't just wait and look that you would reply and then I would do that. So just move forward and keep replying. Okay, and I would be seeing after I'm done with the second part. Now suppose the sum of A is not equal to sum of B. If that is not the case, we would do the vice versa. That means that either the heavy coin lies here or the heavy coin lies at this one. Okay, so we would first measure this and this. So if that is not the case, that means the heavy coin lies here. So first we are comparing this, then we are comparing this. So in two measurement, we are getting the third one. So tell me if this thing is clear to you or not. Okay. Now the second problem is absolutely very interesting. Okay. So the procedure given below. So I think you have already read this question. So don't let us go. So it is given that the given string. So I would be just writing it here. So given a string. Okay. So we are given the old characters. So suppose a is to be replaced with b. Okay. This is what is to be done, and it is telling us that the procedure is flawed. Why procedure is flawed? A contains, A is a string of length, A is a character of is array of length 5, and there are three characters, so we are iterating on 3 and it is completely fine. But when we would come to these all test cases, we would see to it that A needs to be went with D. So A is converted to D. Then B is converted to A. Then C is converted to D. Yes, they can be converted. Now you would see when I would reach the third point. So let us see the next one. C would be converted to B. Okay. Then D would be converted to C. Okay. Then E is converted to B. Okay, E is converted to D itself. Okay, now the problem would arise when we would reach here. Why there is a problem? Why there is a flaw in this scenario? So we want all the occurrence. So this is to be converted, B is to be converted to C, and C is to be converted with D, and A is to be remained as A. So we can see that we want all the occurrence of B to be C. But whenever after converting B to C, now C is getting converted to D. अब ये क्या हो रहा है, मतलब हमें बोला गया है कि बी के जितने ऑकरेंस है, बी के सारे ऑकरेंस को हमें सी में कन्वर्ट करना है, ओके। बट क्या हो रहा है कि नेक्स्ट वाला जब रिप्लेसमेंट हो रहा है तो सी तो बच ही नहीं रहा है, सारा सी तो डी में कन्वर्ट हो जा रहा है। सो दिस इज नॉट अ प्रॉपर वे, सो वी कैन सी दैट दिस इज इनकरेक्ट. The same goes for the next one also. A is converted to B, and then we can see that B is again converted back to A. So A B में A का सारा A का वाला वैल्यू V में जाना चाहिए, बट क्या हो रहा है नेक्स्ट बार में जब हम आ रहे हैं तो B फिर से A बन जा रहा है. So we are not able to perform this operation also. So we can see that 3 and 4 will make this flaw look. Okay. So these all test cases will be able to capture the flaw. Okay. 2 questions are complete. Quickly send me a dot or at least a 1 in the chat. Quickly do that. And then I would move to the next 3 questions and then I would again wait. Quickly tell me. Okay, so let me just block it because he is now trying to annoy us. Okay, so Lalit has replied. Quickly reply one or two more people. Okay, by the way, I think you would be seeing from the stream. So what you can do is you can now you can't send chats. Okay, I hope you would quickly make a new account. Okay, I'm waiting for it, but still just quickly send me your resume. I'm dying to see your resume at the moment. Okay, so quickly tell me if things are clear to you or not. Just one more people who is following me. Okay, let's move forward. So now, by the way, ऐसा कोई आता तो अच्छा लगता है, थोड़ा रौनक बढ़ा हुआ रहता है. Okay, fair enough. So it is given that there is a task. Okay, this is just like the knapsack problem. Okay, but a twist with it. We are given 9 tasks, and from each task we can take out profits. And there is also a deadline associated with it. Okay, there is a deadline associated with it, and you need to complete this task before this deadline. Okay, so now it can be clearly seen without thinking about anything that the maximum deadline is 7, and we need to complete all the 9 tasks, and for each of the tasks we take 1 unit of time. Okay, so we can see that the 8th and the 9th task, whatever it is, we can't do it. Why? Because the maximum deadline is 7 only. मतलब अगर मेरी गर्लफ्रेंड है, उसने बोला कि 30 तारीख तक हम लोग साथ में रहेंगे, बट देर आर 28 days ओनली. सो जितना भी कुछ कर लो, वो 28 days ही आपको मिल सकता है एट मैक्स 28 days ही मिल सकता है, वो लास्ट का 2 days फरवरी में नहीं मिलने वाला. सेम थिंग गोज हेयर ऑल्सो. We don't have the deadline 8 or 9 or greater than that. So that is why whatever way and whichever way we do, we would miss two to work. Okay, so now it is told that we need to complete this task in a fashion that we take out the maximum profit. Okay, so okay, so let us quickly see how would we do that. We would see that first we would try to complete the task with the minimum deadline. Okay, so we would try to finish this task, then we can also finish this task also, but both have the deadline too. How can we prioritize this? At this point of time, both can be done. But how would we prioritize on which one to do? We can see that this brings her more profit. Okay. So if we have a particular deadline, suppose हमारे पास 5 तक, suppose हमारे पास कल तक का डेट है और मैं आज इवनिंग में एक ही गर्लफ्रेंड से मिल सकता हूँ और हमारे पास 2 गर्लफ्रेंड है, सो मैं उसी के पास जाऊंगा जो ज़्यादा सुंदर होगी. ओके, फेयर इनफ. So I would go and finish the task first, which is giving me more profit. Same thing. So I would prioritize on doing T7 first, then I would move down to T2. Okay. Then as you move forward and you would see that we would become, after that you have the third deadline. So for third also we have two options, 3 and 25. Okay. So for this, what we are doing is we are not computing this at the moment because we have 4 to handle also, and if we just go towards 4, it is also giving us 18. So rather let us just go with 4 only. So we would complete the task T9 also. Okay, then we would compute the task 4 also. We don't have any other occurrence of 4, so we would do that. Now we have different occurrences of 5 also. For 5 also we have first 30, we have 10. Okay, so 30 should be prioritized because it brings us more profit. So 30 T3 would also be done. Okay, now we can see that we have the option to either finish T6 or T8. Okay, because we need to miss 2 tasks. So it can be seen that if we want the profit to be maximum, we should do this task 16 rather than 10. And अगर time बचे तो 10 भी कर लेंगे, and deadline भी respect हुआ, तो we would first do this task only. Then we can now consider this and this. As the deadline 5 is already over, we know that we can only do this. That is how you would come to the conclusion that this thing is to be left. Okay, and one more that is to be left is this one. Okay, T4 and T6. Okay, is to be left. So now let's move to the next problem. Okay, now in this problem we are to evaluate the recurrence relation. The most simple way was to write just to write the whole formula itself and just print out the result. Okay, but still that is not the proper way, and that can't be proved that it is cheating. But still, if you are in an interview, you are not expected to do that. So what it should be done is we should see. So T1 is equals to 1, and then T of 2 is equals to T of 1 plus 15. So T of 1 is equals to 1 plus 15, that is equal to 16. Then T of 2 is equals to T of 2, that is 16, plus 15, that is 31. Then T of 3 is nothing but 31 plus 15, that is 46. Then T of 4 is equal to 46 plus 15, that is nothing but 46 plus 5 is equals to 51, that is 61. So we can see a pattern here. What is the pattern here? 1, 16, 31, 46, 61. So we can see that we are adding 15 at each step. Okay, so this is nothing but 15 into 0 plus 1. 15 into 0 plus 1. We can see that this is nothing but 15 into 1 plus 1, 15 into 2 plus 1, 15 into 1 plus 1, 15 into 2, 15 into 2 plus 1. Yeah, 15 into 2 plus 15. Okay, 15 into 3 plus 15. Okay, so T of, so we can see that T of 4 is equals to 15. Okay, whatever it's the last value. Okay, 15 into 3. Why plus 1? Because this plus 1 is coming from here. Plus 1 plus this value. Okay, this value. 15 into 3, 45. 45 plus 1 is equals to 46. 46 plus 15 is equals to 61. So we can see that T of n can also be written as n minus 1 into 15. Okay, plus 1 plus 15. So we can see that n minus 1, that is 98 into 15. Okay, plus 1 plus 15, that is nothing but 1471. Okay, let us go to the last problem, and then we would see. Okay, so now this problem is a Dijkstra problem, and I'm a big fan of Dijkstra. BFS, 01 BFS, and graph is my favorite topic, to be honest. And then we need to work on a single shortest path in Dijkstra. So on a weighted graph with positive weights. Okay, so this is A. Now it is told that we want the minimum weight from D to F. Okay, D to F. So we want to go from this to this. Okay, this is source, this is destination, and it is told that this D to F path, direct path, is not included in the shortest path. That means that it is greater than the shortest path. Suppose the path from D to F directly is X. So if the path from D to F would be like this, from A, if we reach from F, from 7 to 2, 7 plus 2, okay, 7 plus 2. So, and here we have 7 plus this, okay, whatever, we don't know the value this, okay. So 7 plus X should be larger than 7 plus 2, 7 plus 2. Why? Because अगर ये बड़ा होगा तभी तो ये डाइक्स्ट्रा में इंक्लूड नहीं होगा, ओके, और ये छोटा होगा तभी ये डाइक्स्ट्रा में इंक्लूड होगा. Now we want the minimum weight from D plus F. Okay. Okay. Now what we need to do is 7 plus X is less than 7 plus 2. 7 going on that side. Okay. X is greater than 7 minus 7 equals 0. That is 0 would not, we won't write it. That is 2. So we have X is greater than 2. What is the minimum value that is greater than 2? Integer value. So we can see, and the minimum value that is greater than 2 integer value is 3. Okay. So if the option was not given, we can't say that if there is only integer weights or not, if we have double values also. But as it is already given, so we can quickly see that the next just greater integer. Okay, that is why the answer to this is equal to 3. Okay, so the programming part is complete. We would move to the next section. So quickly tell me if things are clear to you or not. Okay, lucky you with TGFs. Okay, so I don't think मजाक उड़ा रहे हो आप. Okay, Abbas Singh. Okay, good night. I think you are feeling sleepy, but please have your dinner. Okay, and then sleep. Okay. Quickly tell me, Lalit is done. So can I have more people? Still, there are many people. Please, I request you. Okay, this is to be done to you, and if you are just investing your time at this point of time, okay, where you should be enjoying your life, you should be just talking with your relatives, with your families. Okay, sir, please wait. What wait? One, can you please tell me quickly? I need to wait for what? Quickly tell me. I need to wait for what? So quickly tell me if things are clear to you or not, and else I would move to the next part. Quickly tell me. We have so many people investing their time. So don't you think that if you just provide me with the feedback, I would know where I'm lacking and where I'm able to do that? Introduce, sir. Sir, please wait. Introduce, sir. Okay, so we are at the second part of the MCQ. This is where we are currently at. Okay. So let me just share the screen now and then let us again start. Okay. Now we are told what is the next term that would come in the following series. So we would write CAY, then we have FDB. Okay. Then we have IGE. Okay. Then we can see that between C and F we have two characters, that is D and E, and then F, G and H. Okay, then we have A, B and C, then we have D, E and F. Here also we have, after Y we have Z and then we have A, and then after B we have what? We have C and we have D. So basically what we are doing is we are skipping two characters in a circular way. Let's see, after Z we are again coming to A. This is what we are doing. So I, J and K, J and K, and there should be L. That is why the value first is L. Then H and I, next value is J. Then we have E. Then we have E. Okay. Then F and G. And the next one would be H. That is why it is H. Okay. Fair enough. Then identifying this series was a little bit tough. Okay. But if you just ask me, this is a very famous series, okay? So consider learning it. This is something like Jacob or something. I don't remember the exact name, but this is a Jacob series or something. Just write all these terms in OIES, okay, website, and just and it would show you that what is the sequence and how to compute it, okay. So for now we are just going to go with the flow, okay. And now if you are wondering how I would take out this is not intuitive, to be honest. And if it is intuitive to you, congrats man, you have a great memory, great observation skills. But it is not intuitive for me. I already knew this series, okay. And I knew this from a contest, okay. So basically what it is 2 multiplied with 1 plus 1, and the value that we are obtaining, that value would come with this 1 again. Then 3 multiplied with 2 minus 1. Then again this value would again come here, and this same would continue. And after 171 it is 341, okay. That is why the value is 341. And doing the same thing again and again is not useful. How we are coming to this is already discussed. Now, the next question is very easy. Why? Because it can be observed from here only, that 1, 3, 5, 11, 21, 43, 85, and 171. We have the exact same thing here. Okay, we have the exact same thing here. So you just copy the last one and you just write it here, that it is just forming the series. Okay, you don't need to do anything. You just need to have a good memory. Okay, you need to remember the thing that is done in the past. Like suppose your girlfriend ditched you because you were not hardworking. So the next time you should always work hard so that your girlfriend never leaves you. So that is, you remember your past and learn from it. Okay. Suppose you have a function y is equals to fx, then the values in that function is known as domain. Okay, this is a fact. Okay, there is no intuition, there is no reason to that. Okay, this is a fact that I am known as Siddharth Hazra. Why? There is no reason to that. My father and mother named me. This is why. Okay, it is known as domain. Okay, domain, range, and these all things. Learn the difference between this. This is a famous interview question, that what is the difference between a domain and a range. Okay, next problem is that correct the bolded words and choose a suitable alternative for it. Okay, so many there aren't many men who are so famous that they are frequently referred by their short names only. Okay, so it can be thought of in a way that you went to some event and you are told to write your short name. Okay, so you told what short name, so she would have told you that write your initials. Okay, okay, initial means the starting part. Okay, and the other synonym for short named is referred as initials also. That is, the answer to this is initials. Okay, then A, B, and C can do a piece of work in 10 days, 12 days, and 15 days respectively. Okay, so each person, you can do this in two ways, that is unitary method and then the LCM way. So what we can do is, we can see that they all would do a work as 10, 12, and 15. So the LCM of everything would nothing but 60. Okay, they all start the work together, but A leaves after 2 days. Okay, so A leaves after 2 days. That means that the work remaining would be 15 enough. And then B leaves after 3 days before the work is complete. So just complete how many days they require B to be completed. So B requires 12 days to complete. 3 days before, that means he has already worked 9 days. Okay, so the total number of days the work is completed is, he has already worked 5 days. Okay, 5 days before, and now 2 days. So that is not, so 2 days A has worked and B would work 5 days. Okay, that would nothing but just be 7 days. Okay, and the work would be completed. Okay, next we would move that if an employee works 10 kilometers at 3 kilometer per hour. Okay, so I would just write, so I won't write this, so he would be rate by 20 minutes. Okay, he would rate the 20 minutes. And if he works 4 kilometer per hour, how early from the fixed time will he reach? Okay, so the first thing that we need is, we want to know that what is the timing what is the time that he requires. In that timing he would be on time. Okay, what is the timing of his office? So we would first calculate the distance. We would first calculate the distance that he has covered. Okay, okay, fair enough. So the speed is equals to distance by time. Okay, so 3, okay, 3, that would be nothing but 10 by 3, distance by time. Okay, distance by speed is equals to the time. This would go at this position and this would go at this position, the crisscross. Okay, so that would be 10 divided by 3. Okay, 10 divided by 3, how many is that? So 10 divided by 3 is equal to 3.3 something. Okay, that is just 1 hour 20 minutes or something, 1 hour 1.5 hours. Okay, okay, 1.2. Okay, why 1.2? Because 3.33333, so 3.33 multiplied with 3 would be 10. So that is nothing but 1.20, 1 hour 20 minutes. Okay, and the time, so now we know the timing to it. Okay, we know the timing to it. So timing, so the time is 1 hour 20, sorry, 3.3 hours 20 minutes. Time required is 3 hours 20 minutes. 3 hours 20 minutes. This is the time that is required, okay, to reach, if we would reach at the time, same time. Now the speed is 4 kilometer per hour. Okay, and how many, and how many he would require? Okay, how many, for, so he would calculate, so you would just quickly calculate the distance. You already have the time, you already have the distance. So you speed is equals to distance, so you speed is equals to distance by time. So speed is equals to distance by time. So the speed is already given, that is 4. Distance is not given and the time is given, that is 3.2 hours. So you can just move it here and you can move it at this position and you would get that. Okay, and the answer would boil down to 30. Just do the crisscross thing and you would be done with that. Okay, moving forward, the speed of a motorboat in still water is 35 kilometer per hour. But before that, let me tell you, even if you know, that is not a problem, but still if you don't know, let me tell you that there is a thing known as upstream and downstream. If we move in the downstream, we would have higher speed than that in still water, and if we move upstream, we would have less speed than that we have in still water. Okay, so ऊपर जाएंगे speed कम होगा, नीचे जाएंगे speed बढ़ जाएगा, we know that. But here this thing plays an important role. How it plays an important role? See, in still water it is 35 kilometer per hour, but if the boat travels 100 kilometer along the stream, along the stream मतलब down the stream, मतलब stream जहाँ जा रहा है उसी तरफ जा रहे हैं. Okay, so travels 100 kilometers in 2.30 minutes. So what you can do is, you are told the distance. Okay, so you are told the distance, that is 100 kilometers. Okay, and you are told the time, that is 2.5 hours. Okay, now what you need to do is, you need to take out the distance. Okay, you need to take out the distance, then same distance against the stream. Okay, you would just subtract the distance. Okay, and again you would calculate the same thing. Okay, calculate the same thing and the distance would remain the same, 100 only. Okay, then you would come to the fact that this is 3 hours 20 minutes. Okay, now how many are left, how many is left? So we are at this, so the last two questions are left. Okay, last two. Okay, we would just do the last two questions. Now, Ram puts 375 more in a business than Syam. Okay, and then Sham invests for 8 months while Sham invests for 4 months. So Ram is basically investing twice that of Sham. Okay, so if the total Sham of Ram is 75 more, so you can see that for 4 months, if the 4 months total share of Sham is 75 more than that of Sham out of the total profit of 125. Total profit is 125 and a total share is, the difference is what? The distance difference is nothing but 75. Okay, you need to take care of the distance only, and the next question is also the same thing. You would take use of the difference only. Okay, suppose it is अभी 4 बज रहा है, बाद में 6 बज रहा है, and I complete 2 hours of study and I complete 5 chapters. So I can say that the speed of this is a final minus initial, and so I can say that in 2 hours I can complete 5 chapters. So in 1 hour I can complete 2.5 chapters. The same thing would be done here. Okay, so total RAM share is x plus 25. Total profit is 125. So suppose this is, so suppose RAM share is x. Okay, RAM share is x. Then that the next one would be that share plus 75. 75 more than that of share. Okay, that would be nothing but x plus 75. So that would be 125. We would be taking out the value of x simply because there is only one term. So we can see that the first x value is equals to 25, and 25 plus 75 is nothing but 100 itself. So now we would see this thing, time ratio, RAM 2 and Sham 1. Why? Because he is investing twice the time. Okay, he is investing twice the time. Then what he would be doing is 2 minus 1, that is 1 unit. That is why, because of 1 unit, the RAM's capital is equals to 750. Okay, fair enough. So the next problem is absolutely very interesting. So what amount of money will amount to 750 in 6 years and 800 in 8 years? So 2 साल में कितने प्रॉफिट हुआ? 2 साल में we are getting a profit. In 2 years we are getting a profit of 50. Okay, so how many money is to be invested? Okay, so if in 2 years the profit is 50, okay, so in 1 year the profit is equals to 25. Okay, so 25 into 25 into 6, okay, 6 years plus the simple interest is equals to 750. Okay, sorry, yeah. So 25 into 6 plus 25 into 6 plus whatever simple interest, let that be x, is equals to 750. Then 25 6 are 150 plus x is equals to 750. Okay, then x is equals to 750 minus 150. The value is 600. That is why the value to this is 600. Now this thing is clear. Tell me the question number which you have not understood. I have the explanation at this position. If you want the PDF also, just let me know. Okay, and we have a lot of people today. We have around 28 people today. Okay, so that is very great. So quickly tell me if things are clear to you or not, and then we will turn off the session after I get 1 or 2 plus 1. Please like the video, and if you are seeing this after the live, just comment on the video too. It would help us to motivate me, as well as it would act as a catalyst for the reach of this video. Okay, so quickly tell me if things are clear to you or not. So there are two main things that you should be learning is, you should always take off that difference thing. Okay, so final minus initial thing. Suppose it is told that I reach this, so that thing is very important, and the variation of that is very comes. And that one, the candle, the minimum number of the minimum number of measurements you should be doing. PDF मिल जाएगा कि नहीं? See, what I have is my the PDFs that I draw gets deleted in a time frame of 5 days. So if you ask me the PDF less than or equal to 5 days, I would be able to provide you in LinkedIn. Okay, just search me with the name Siddharth Hazra. I would be sending you the name. Okay, so just search this. Okay, let me just give you the link only. Okay. Okay, let me just give you the link. Okay, yeah, send your request. Okay, fair enough. Just I'm sending you the name itself. Siddharth Hazra. Yeah, this is my name. Okay, just send me a LinkedIn request, and I would be providing you with the PDF that you want. Okay. So I see no more doubts coming in. So there is no point in waiting. Still, if you are on this stream, good night. May you succeed and may you get an interview call. Still, if you don't do that, एक टाइम आएगा जब जो चाहते थे उससे कहीं ज्यादा मिलेगा और आपके पेरेंट्स भी खुश होंगे. ओके, थैंक्स अ लॉट कुसुमा कुमारी. गुड नाइट.